Hey guys, Lenny Revell here for Revell Health video number 3. As you know, and if you've been watching the last two videos, I started recently a video series that dealt with different avenues of alternative health. And I explained in the last two videos that I'm not a doctor, and these are solely my opinion, all the information and advice on there. Or you could find these things for yourself by going online or reading books and trying to, basically type in a lot of the stuff I'm saying, and you'll discover a lot of the same stuff that I did. Today I'm going to talk and continue the series on cancer, alternative treatments and cures for cancer. The last video I mentioned cancer, the cause was actually found over 100 years ago by a doctor named Dr. Otto Warburg, who found out that low oxygen levels and high acidity were responsible for the mutation of the cell and cancer as a result. So today I'm going to further go off that same line of that same topic and talk about another basic cure and treatment for cancer, and it's called sungazing. Now, sungazing is an ancient practice. It goes back thousands of years, possibly millions. It's an ancient practice. It was actually practiced by the ancient Babylonians, ancient Egyptians, Native Americans did this, ancient Jews. And what happens when you look at the sun is you're getting basically the full spectrum of light. They've done research recently with light, and light has been shown, full spectrum lighting inside houses have been shown to actually have very beneficial results on health, on raising depression, because basically our bodies are basically created by sunlight energy, as is every plant and in every animal. Because if the sun doesn't come up, we're all screwed. I mean, put it in a nutshell. And all of life on this planet thrives off of the energy from the sun. So if we get the sunlight directly through us, if there's a way to do this without needing to go through an indirect source like food or source, things like that, then perhaps we can bypass the middleman and get the direct energy to maintain everything the body needs to be maintained with. It's a very far-fetched idea, but there actually are people out there called breatharians who have actually absolved themselves from the need to eat, because they have actually converted their brains to be photosynthesis machines and solar chips. It's really hard for a lot of people to believe, because how many people know somebody that doesn't need to eat? But lo and behold, there are actually people out there that don't eat, and they're healthy, and they don't drop weight. So how is this done? First off, over 93% of the human DNA, going at a very core basic level, is actually made up of photon-phonon emissions for cellular upregulation or cellular maintenance. So basically, and at a very atomic structure and a very basic level, our DNA is not composed mostly of our information that that comes up with our skin color, our hair color, eyes, bone density, height, weight, and all that stuff. That actually takes up a very minimal amount of the actual DNA composition. Most of it is light and sound frequencies. Because if you look at the basic core makeup of an atom actually isn't solid. It's actually whirling around, and it's moving, and it's made of energy. And energy is constantly in a state of flux, which means that at a very core level, our bodies are actually moving, our cells are moving. Nothing is actually solid at a very core level. It just happens that the energy is very compacted enough to actually create the illusion of solid matter. And so we tend to look at our bodies as something based off of our perception, our limited perception, as a solid object. But nothing is truly solid at the very core. It just appears that way. So because frequency also involves light, and each organ in our body responds to a different color of light. When we take in the solar energy through our eyes, it actually charges the hypothalamus gland behind the eye, and then actually charges the pineal gland in the middle of the head, which is considered by ancient cultures to be the seat of the soul, because it is the gland that is responsible for psychic intuition and spiritual abilities. Also regulates hormones, and it has a variety of other functions. I don't want to get too much into that. But then what happens is the light travels down through our necks into our bodies. From there it actually rejuvenates and heals all the organs in the body, the bones, the blood, everything. It's highly concentrated with chi or prana, which is chi in Chinese or prana in Indian, is basically saying the same, talking about the same thing. It's the universal energy that pervades all of existence, that binds and holds everything together. Kind of almost like the Force in Star Wars. So this energy has been known to rejuvenate damaged body parts. I personally can attest to this because I had a sore shoulder from sleeping on it wrong for like a couple days or so, and the pain it was so intense that I couldn't even raise my arm over my head without being in pain, you know, or putting on my sneaker without difficulty. My sneakers. And I tried sungazing for 2 days. I've already been doing it, but I specifically went out because I actually skipped a few days prior to that. I went out and I did about 13 minutes on both days, and my arm, the pain was completely gone. There are other testimonies from people doing this, people that have lost, they wear contacts, they're staring at the sun, they accidentally, like the one guy, one of his contacts popped out while he was sleeping. He woke up, and I'm not kidding when I say this, his vision improved to the point where he actually thought his other contact was still in his eye. And then there's actually a few cases where people have actually healed themselves of cancer by doing this. It sounds really far-fetched. I know that. I know you're going to have doubts, but like anything scientific, why not try it? It can't hurt, right? And I've had people go out and come back and say, "Yeah, I feel wonderful." You know, a lot of people are worried because we grew up in a culture we're supposed to be afraid of the sun. That if you stare at it directly, it's going to damage your eyes and you're going to go blind. Well, I'm not blind. In fact, my eyes have actually slightly become sharper since I've been doing it, and I'm not lying when I say that. So I can personally attest. I'm a personal testimony right here that I do this stuff. It does work. It does make you feel better. It calms you down. It lowers the depression, increases the immune system, makes all the organs work better, and it enhances cognitive function in your brain. It's an incredible source of neglected energy. People wrap up their bodies, stay indoors, and they're depriving themselves of this resource that's pretty much like limitless. It's always there, you know. I mean, sometimes you have a cloudy day or whatnot, but I mean, if you can get out there, do it. Now, here's the protocol for doing it. Yes, there might be a possibility where your eyes could be damaged if you go out in the middle of the day. I have never done that because I've actually followed the instructions by another guy who actually have studied this science for quite some time. And he says the best 2 times to go out is the first hour after it rises and the last hour before it sets. So all you have to do is just go google.com and then you type in sunrise space and then your city and state, and also sunset your city and state. And when the sunrise number pops up, well, you have an hour from that moment, and also when the sunset number comes up, you have an hour before that time that's listed there as your safe zone, that you know definitely you'll be okay. If you wear glasses or contacts, I encourage you to take them off when you do this. You're supposed to stand on the soil, dirt, or sand when you do this, not grass, because grass is a living organism, and what it does is it actually soaks a lot of the energy through your feet and uses it for its own propagation. So if you want to get the most out of this, I recommend going on sand, dirt, or soil, and you'll be able to benefit. Now what you do is you do 10 seconds the first day, the second 20 seconds, the third day 30 seconds, and you know how much, pretty much guess how much that goes on for. Until you get about 9 months, 44 minutes in, then you quit completely and walk barefoot for 45 minutes a day. Now what happens is when you walk barefoot, the earth has a negative charge, so as it goes through your feet, it actually helps encourage, it acts as a conduit for your body, because the solar energy comes through the eyes, the magnetic energy from the earth goes and travels through your feet, and you become like a lightning pole for the solar energy. And it's a really incredible feeling how you feel when you're done it. I can't describe this any other way other than as if your brain was a battery and you plug yourself in to charge your brain, because it feels like your energy is like getting charged. Your head is getting charged of energy. So it's incredible. And people say, like, you know, go outside and get sunlight, you know, go tanning or what. You know, I personally want to say that if I were to go outside and suntan, not that I'm out for sun tanning as much as I'm just regularly getting the sun, I wouldn't wear any creams unless, if you're going to wear a sunscreen, wear a natural sunscreen, not a chemical mainstream sunscreen product, because those are highly toxic, and whatever goes on the skin gets absorbed into the bloodstream. And we don't want that, because when that happens, that starts to corrode the arterial walls, and then the cholesterol that goes through the blood starts to basically pack itself onto the walls, and that actually narrows the artery, which consequently raises the blood pressure. So we don't want that. So most likely, if you can't put it on you can't eat it, don't put it on your skin. There's a lot of natural soaps out there too, if you want to buy, that are made of seaweed or aloe vera or coconut oil or olive oil, honey. Any of these are really much better soaps than the traditional white soaps that are available. And so we have that, and we do the sun gazing, and what happens is we get our bodies produce vitamin D3 through the sunlight, which is really, really needed by our bodies for it to work right, for our immune systems to be strong. A lot of people go out and get flu shots. You don't need a flu shot. You need the sun. You need good nutrition. You need to meditate. You need to exercise. Excuse me. All these 4 things work together and strengthen each other factor to make your body and give yourself whole, total health. Okay? And so I recommend sun gazing strongly if you have cancer, or if you're just anybody. You know, I don't have cancer, I do it. And it can't hurt you. Trust me. Because I do it, and if it was going to hurt anyone, I would be coming back all in pain, and I would be telling you don't do it. So, it's very, very good, because what happens is the vitamin D that's produced from the sun inside the body, when you drink green juice from vegetable juicing, or you're eating salads and things like that, the vitamin A is fat soluble, and vitamin D is what you get from dairy and stuff, and also from the sun. It all works together, and it basically makes your bones stronger, makes you less resilient to osteoporosis later in life, makes you happier, makes you smarter, makes your memory better. What's not to like? And you're less depressed, and you have a feeling of being able to take on the world. You got a strong surge of energy. It's incredible. It's not like a sugar buzz where you're bouncing off the wall and you're flipping out and then you just crash. This is a consistent, slow stream of usable energy that actually benefits and helps the body. So, well, guys, I'm going to cut this short right here. It's long enough. So go check that out. Research sun gazing. It's really, really an incredible resource that just is out there for you to use. If you don't want to use it, you don't have to. But if you want to be scientific, it's always a good idea to experiment. And like I said, I'm a guinea pig for this, and I do it, and I'm fine. And there's other people that have tried it my Facebook, they come back, they're saying it's how great it is, and they're all doing it. I mean, come on, not everyone can be going blind and just smiling and pretending like it's, that everything's fine if they're really in pain. So, I'm going to end it here. So, take it easy, guys. Revell out.